Iran talks have collapsed. U.S. carriers are in position. Is this the brink of war? Let's break down what's actually happening. Welcome back. I'm Nova Kingsley, and this is Trendwave News. Good evening. I'm Nova Kingsley. Tonight, we bring together all the moving parts in one clear, structured analysis. Because the question now being asked globally is simple. Are the United States and Iran moving toward breakout war? To answer that responsibly, we need to separate confirmed facts from interpretation, and interpretation from speculation. Let's begin with what is verifiable. First, diplomacy under strain, but not collapsed. Recent negotiations mediated through Oman did not produce a breakthrough agreement. That is confirmed. However, diplomacy has not formally ended. Follow-up discussions are reportedly being arranged in Geneva, with mediation channels still open. Turkey has publicly warned that expanding negotiations to include ballistic missiles and regional proxy activity significantly raises the risk of war. That warning reflects regional concern, not confirmation of imminent conflict. The key point? Diplomacy is strained, but it is not shut down. And as long as diplomatic channels remain open, breakout war probability remains contained, though not eliminated. Second, military posture, high readiness, not automatic war. The United States has deployed 2 carrier strike groups into the region, the USS Gerald R. Ford and the USS Abraham Lincoln. A dual carrier presence is rare outside major crises. It provides sustained air operations capability, escalation flexibility, redundant strike capacity. Satellite imagery has also confirmed mobile missile launch systems at Al Udeid Air Base, increasing rapid response capability. This posture signals readiness and leverage. But readiness is not the same as decision. Historically, force buildups often serve coercive diplomacy, creating negotiating pressure without immediate intent to launch sustained war. Third, the red line, ballistic missiles. The structural diplomatic impasse centers on ballistic missiles. Washington insists that missile restrictions must be included in any final agreement. Tehran labels this a non-negotiable red line. From Iran's perspective, missile capability compensates for conventional military disadvantages and ensures deterrence. From Washington's perspective, missile range and payload capacity expand threat exposure across the region. This is not a technical dispute. It is a clash of core security doctrines. And when core doctrines collide, compromise becomes politically and strategically difficult. Fourth, the underreported dimension, domestic stability. Perhaps the least discussed but most strategically important factor is internal Iranian stability. Iran has experienced waves of protest and government crackdowns. Casualty estimates vary widely and remain independently contested. What matters strategically is this. If domestic unrest intersects with external military pressure, escalation pathways widen. This is where reports of satellite-based communication infrastructure inside Iran become relevant. If independent communication channels function during unrest, information control, a key pillar of regime stability, becomes more difficult. In modern geopolitics, internal durability is often more decisive than external firepower. Fifth, risk assessment. What is the probability of breakout war? Let's approach this analytically. There is no confirmed war decision. There is no declared timeline for kinetic operations. There is no formal diplomatic collapse. But there is elevated military posture, rigid red lines, and volatile regional perception. Based on these factors, short-term breakout war risk, in the next 30 days, appears elevated but not dominant. Medium-term risk, over 60 to 90 days, increases if negotiations stall further or if a triggering incident occurs. The greatest danger is not pre-planned invasion, it is miscalculation. In high-force environments, even limited incidents, a drone strike, a missile test misread as preparation, a proxy action, can trigger rapid escalation cycles. Sixth, the strategic core most people miss. This is not purely about nuclear enrichment. It is not purely about carriers. It is not purely about regime rhetoric. This is a contest over strategic durability. Military pressure tests deterrence, Missile disputes test doctrine. Digital infrastructure tests information control. Political messaging tests perception thresholds. The center of gravity is not territory. It is control, both external and internal. Seventh, what would push the region toward war? 3 triggers would sharply increase probability: direct US or Iranian military casualties from deliberate strike, formal diplomatic termination combined with new ultimatums, evidence of broader target expansion beyond nuclear-linked infrastructure. Conversely, risk would decrease if negotiations narrow back to nuclear-only parameters. A phased inspection for relief framework emerges. Both sides reduce public rhetorical escalation. Right now, this appears to be a high-pressure, coercive diplomacy phase, not an announced war plan. But not routine tension either. The probability of breakout war is higher than baseline because force posture, red line rigidity, and domestic volatility are interacting simultaneously. However, the presence of ongoing diplomatic channels remains the strongest stabilizing factor. The most dangerous variable is perception. When one side believes it is applying leverage and the other believes it is facing existential dismantlement, escalation risk multiplies. That is where this situation stands tonight. High tension, active diplomacy, rigid red lines, elevated military readiness. The next weeks will determine whether pressure converts into negotiation or miscalculation. I'm Nova Kingsley. This is Trendwave News. We will continue monitoring this story across military, diplomatic, and domestic stability indicators, bringing clarity without alarm and analysis without speculation. Thank you for being with us. If clarity matters to you, you're in the right place. I'm Nova Kingsley. Stay informed, stay thoughtful, and we'll see you next time.